Ep4 and Peanuts Productions present Sherlock Holmes and the Adventure of the Sussex Vampire, based upon the short story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. We begin our tale at 221B Baker Street, London, the residence of the great consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Dear. Really, some people.
For God's sake, pay him some attention!
I'm trying to ignore him.
I'm not an advocate of negative behaviour reinforcement, but he's doing my head in.
Oh, very well. OK, Holmes, you win. What do you want?
No, I don't want anything, my dear Watson.
Oh, come off it. You're gagging for me to ask you about the letter you've been waving around all morning.
What, this old thing? You're interested in its content?
No, not really. But you're going to be a pain in the neck until I let you tell me why you find it so funny.
If you have the time, I would be delighted to let you in on it.
Well, no doubt using the opportunity to show some brilliant facet of your intellect. I mean, it's not like I have anything else to do. What apart from keeping up with the frenetic pace of medical improvements while reviewing this patient's case notes and trying to fathom out why he's at death's door.
Well, what do his notes say?
Here, have a look for yourself.
Don't you have to abide by patient confidentiality?
Yeah, whatever.
Yes, I see. That's interesting.
So what do you think then?
Well, I'm no doctor, but I would say this chap is suffering from idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy.
Do you reckon?
It's the conclusion I would draw from all the evidence in this report.
All right, I'll put him down for that then.
Watson, I'm not a medical expert. You really ought to get a second opinion.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, Holmes.
Naturally.
Mrs. Hudson? Mrs. Hudson!
What?
Do you remember that bloke's medical records you were laughing about the other day?
Which one? Arthur Pint or George Ostiferous?
Ostiferous.
Yeah? What about him?
What do you think was wrong with him?
Idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy. Obviously.
Thanks, Mrs. Hudson. There you go, Holmes. Sorted. Give me those notes back and I'll just jot that into them.
Here you are.
Tar. Hang on, what was it she said?
Oh Lord, give it here, Watson, I'll do it. Idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy. There. Do you want me to fill in the recommended treatment for you as well?
Nah, it's all right. I'll do that later.
You have no idea of the treatment, do you?
Not a clue, but I'm bored with that now anyway. Tell me about that letter that was amusing you so much.
Here. I received this in the post a few days ago.
Blimey, it's a bit wordy, isn't it?
It does endeavour to describe the situation in as comprehensive a manner as can be accomplished in a letter.
I can't be bothered to read all that. Just summarise it in 8 words or less.
Very well. 8 words or less, eh? OK, how about baby-eating Peruvian vampire woman living in Sussex?
Wow, that sounds brilliant. Just like a News of the World headline before they closed down. Are you sure it was Sussex?
You're quite sure, Watson. Why'd you ask?
Well, because it sounds more like the sort of thing that would go on in Essex.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Is she a looker?
Is who a looker?
The Peruvian vampire woman.
Firstly, Watson, vampires do not really exist. And secondly, this is a letter. There are no pictures or aesthetically gratifying descriptions of the lady in question.
Oh, nothing in the envelope then?
No, but I'll pander to the Suffolk Hammer horror movie, which I guarantee is currently playing in your head by saying, "Cool, yeah, I bet she is a right looker."
Oh, brilliant. So, are you going to investigate the case?
I'm not sure there actually is a case. The letter is a bit fanciful, but for the sake of my own amusement, I have agreed to meet its author at his Sussex residence.
Oh, can I go with you?
Only if you promise not to get overexcited when we arrive.
I'm not promising anything.
Don't ever change, Watson. Anyway, the letter is written by the lady's husband, and I believe you may already know him.
Really? Who is it then?
A Mr. Robert Ferguson of Cheeseman's, Lamberley.
Surely you can't mean Tufty Tail Bob, the most hairy-arse three-quarter ever to play in the Richmond rugby squad.
I don't know. Unsurprisingly, there's no mention of the hirsuteness of his backside within the correspondence.
So he married a Latin vampire then, did he? Knowing Tufty, he probably got Transylvanian and transvestite mixed up. He was always doing stuff like that. It'll be brilliant to see him. When are we going?
I said I'd be there today. According to my trusty Bradshaws, there's a train from Victoria in a couple of hours. If we leave now, we should have no trouble catching it.
Brilliant. I'll go and get my coat, a wooden stake, a bottle of holy water and some garlic.
Watson, there are no such things as... Oh, never mind.
Mr. Ferguson, we'll see you now. Please come this way, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jeeves.
My name is not Jeeves, sir.
Of course it is. All butlers are called Jeeves.
Whilst I'm sure that sir is undoubtedly correct, I'm quite certain that my name is not Jeeves.
All right, Parker then.
As you wish, sir. Mr. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson to see you, sir.
Thank you, Regicide. Well, if it isn't old Prissy Watson.
Hello, Tufty.
Prissy Watson?
Yes, indeed. This chap was desperately prudish about using communal showers at the college, so we all called him Prissy.
With Watson's hair trigger bladder, I'd have thought Pissy Watson would have been more appropriate.
So you're the great detective Sherlock Holmes. Do you think I could possibly trouble you for an...
Autograph?
By Jove, yes. Already I can see why your powers of deduction are so highly regarded, Mr. Holmes.
Here, take one of these pre-signed photographs and stop fueling his ego or he'll be unbearable.
Splendid! Thank you. Jack will be thrilled when I show him this.
Who's Jack?
He's my eldest child from my first marriage.
Your dog just shit itself.
What? Oh no. Hang on, I'll get the butler to take care of it. Regicide! Regicide, could you come here a moment?
You called, sir?
Ah, Regicide, there you are. Carlo has had another little incident.
He's crapped on the rug.
How frequently unfortunate, sir.
Be so kind as to dispose of it, would you, Regicide?
The dog or its deposit, sir?
Very funny. Just get the mess cleared up before someone treads in it.
Very good, sir.
Oh, yuck. He's got some on his thumb. Holmes, can we have a butler? They're brilliant.
Mr. Ferguson, how long has your dog had this bowel control problem?
It started very suddenly about a month ago. Totally perplexed the vet. It's been getting better recently, though.
Don't apologise, it's most interesting.
Trust you to find dog poo fascinating, Holmes.
Says the man with a poster of Gillian McKeith on his wall.
She's lovely.
Yes, but I wouldn't want to hold hands with her.
Daddy! Daddy!
Oh, God. This is my eldest son, Jack, who I mentioned a few moments ago. Let go of me, Jackie, and introduce yourself to these gentlemen.
But I want a cuddle, Daddy.
Come on now, old chap. Let go of me.
Shan't. Not ever, ever, ever. You're my favouriteest daddy in the whole wide world.
Yes, quite. Let go of me.
Daddy!
You're such a little scamp, Jackie. Now say hello to these nice men.
They're not nice men. They're horrid. Horrid, horrid, horrid.
Blimey, mate. You must get the crap kicked out of you at school.
Jack doesn't go to school ever since his dear mamma passed away.
I didn't kill her.
No one said you did, lad.
Good, because if they did, then I'd have to kill them.
OK. I wonder if I might...
I'll kill you.
You really do have a problem.
I'll kill you too. I'll kill both of you.
Jackie, why don't you run along and,
Kill someone or something.
As you will.
I'm going to go and find something sharp.
So, Watson, tell me your professional opinion of Master Jackie.
He's a right little nutter. What happened there then, Bob?
I have no idea what you mean. Jack is everything to me. I do admit that since his beloved mother died, he's been a little...
Psychotic?
I was going to say clingy. It's perfectly understandable, you know, losing a parent and all that.
I'm more interested in your Peruvian vampire wife, Bob.
There are no such things as vampires, Watson.
Don't be so sure, Mr. Holmes. I do not believe that you would be saying that if it was you who had come upon Mrs. Ferguson, as I did, sucking the very life force from our baby child's neck. If you had seen her with blood running down her chin and trickling into her exceedingly ample cleavage, you too would have thought...
Cool, brilliant.
Watson, get visions of Vampirella out of your head.
I can't.
Mr. Ferguson, could I please speak with your wife?
You can try. Bloody woman has been shut up in her room since I caught her attacking the baby.
What's your wife's first name?
Damned if I know.
I see.
Let me call Dolores. She can show you to Mrs. Ferguson's room.
Who is Dolores?
She's Mrs. Ferguson's devoted maidservant.
So, you know the servants' first names, but not your wife's.
What's your point?
Oh, no point at all. Please summon her.
Dolores! Dolores!
What do you want?
Blimey, it's Mrs. Hudson in flamenco.
See, you scoffed at my suspicions of a global cloning program for that vile woman. You insisted I was just being paranoid. Not so cocksure now, are you, Watson?
Dolores, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson here would very much like to speak with Mrs. Ferguson. Would you see if you could get them an audience with her?
She very sick. She dying, I think. She need a doctor.
What's wrong with her?
I do not have the words. How you say in your language? She is,
That sounds rather like the dog.
I'm a doctor.
Not a very good one by all accounts. Why don't you tell her your mortality rate?
Shut up, Holmes. Dolores, I would be happy to examine your mistress.
Yes, it is good. I take you to her. Come with me. It is only me. I bring you a doctor.
Hang on a sec. I need to get myself ready.
Good grief, Watson. Did I really just see you take that enormous crucifix out of your trousers?
Yes, I have a special pocket.
I'll say it's special. It certainly explains why you couldn't sit down all the time we were on the train, and why you've been walking so strangely all day. I thought you were suffering from groin strain again.
Did you bring one?
Did I bring one what?
A crucifix.
No, I did not. What have you got one for, anyway?
Vampire, Holmes. Vampire.
Oh, good Lord, Watson, how many more times? There is no such thing as vampires.
You won't be saying that when she tears your throat out.
Anyone with a missing throat wouldn't be able to say anything, you idiot.
Would you like some garlic?
No, Watson, I do not want any of your garlic. It's bad enough that you smell like a French kitchen without rendering me as malodorous. And you do know that you've brought garlic powder. Not exactly in the Van Helsing tradition, is it? What are you going to do? Throw the packet at her?
Well, how about some holy water then?
Where the hell did you get that from?
eBay. It was only £2.26. The postage was £4.99 though.
Why, Watson?
Well, presumably because transporting liquids through the post carries a premium.
No, I meant why in heaven's name did you buy holy water?
I use it to repel Mrs. Hudson.
Does it work?
Well, she certainly seems wary of it.
Oh, I must remember that one.
Who is that there?
Get in there, Watson, and see to your patient.
OK, but be ready to leap on her at the first sign of trouble.
I can pretty much guess what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. What sort of trouble did you have in mind, Watson?
You know, if her canine teeth become a bit more obvious, or if she makes a lunge at my neck or something.
Oh, for crying out loud, Van Helsing, she's not a bloody vampire. Now get in there, and take that packet of garlic powder off from round your neck. You look ridiculous,
says the man wearing the deer stalker.
It's my thing. Good day to you, Mrs. Ferguson.
Dolores? Who are these strange men? What do they want?
What do you mean strange?
Blimey, it stinks in here.
The big one. He says he is a doctor.
Yeah, he says he's a doctor.
Dolores, I said I would see no one.
You're very sick. You die. I have to bring you doctor. I don't want you to die.
Seriously, it's disgusting in this room.
Have you been letting that incontinent dog in here? Holmes, did you tread in anything while we were downstairs?
No, Watson, I did not.
Let me just check the bottom of your shoe.
Get off me, Watson.
Gentlemen, I apologize. The repugnant miasma is mine alone.
Blimey, you've got a problem there, missus.
That's why she needs a doctor, you moron.
Well, I'm not going near her. It might be catching.
You really are the worst medical practitioner I have ever encountered.
Perhaps you could describe your symptoms, Mrs. Ferguson. From over there.
Unbelievable.
I have, how do you say,
Nothing stays inside of her. It all comes out.
Oh, yuck.
Oh, what a pro.
How long have you felt like this?
I have been ever since that terrible, terrible day.
And what terrible day would that be?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I know the answer to this one.
Be quiet, Watson.
I bet it was the day you were caught by your husband going all Nosferatu on your baby.
Nostra what? I do not understand.
You know, Vampirella. Nom nom nom, blah blah blah.
You're not helping, Watson.
You think I tried to harm my baby? Mr. Ferguson, he thinks this too?
Yeah, he reckons you're a psycho.
Watson, have you ever considered a career in marriage guidance counselling?
The idea never crossed my mind.
Good, keep it that way.
He thinks I am a monster.
Yep, pretty much.
But I love him. I love him.
You see him as your next meal, do you?
You call your husband Mr. Ferguson.
Why, yes, of course.
Do you know his first name?
Oh no.
His name is Bob.
Berib?
Bob.
Brub?
Bob.
Burp?
It's Bob. Bob. It's a single syllable, for God's sake. It's more of a noise than a name.
Blub? Bulb? Burr? It is no good. I will call him Mr. Ferguson. It is much easier.
Mrs. Ferguson, tell me what happened with your baby.
I cannot. I will not. My husband.
Bob.
It would destroy him. It would break his heart.
Your husband loves you dearly. Admittedly, you're not on first-name terms with each other, but hey-ho.
How romantic.
I love my husband, but that fiend, that devil, he would destroy us all.
Oh, the master vampire is still around. Good job one of us came prepared, Holmes.
Will you put that ruddy crucifix away?
Do I have to? It gets really uncomfortable.
Well, go and prop it up by the bureau for now.
Well, all right, but don't let me forget it. The vicar doesn't know I borrowed it.
You know you're going to burn in hell, don't you?
Only if I don't get it back in time for the Sunday service.
Well, you wasted your time nicking it anyway. There is no master vampire.
Oh, what?
Let us return back downstairs, Watson. I wish to confirm my hypothesis.
My baby! Bring me my baby! Bring me my child! Tell Mr. Ferguson that the one thing I want is my child.
Oi, Dolores, keep an eye on your mistress. It sounds like she's getting peckish again.
Yes, Mr. Doctor.
Come along, Watson. Let's go and have a little chat with Mr. Ferguson.
You mean Bob.
Watson, I find it odd that you haven't mentioned Ferguson's collection while we have been here.
That's because I'm a bit overwhelmed by it, Holmes. I mean, look around you. It's brilliant.
Tell me what you recognise.
Are you being sarcastic?
Absolutely not, my dear friend. I am testing you.
All right, then. Hanging on the wall to our left is a Klingon bat'leth.
Yeah, start with an easy one, why don't you?
Sticking with the Star Trek theme, in this cabinet here we have a comprehensive range of Star Trek phasers, including everything from an original Type 1 handheld to a Voyager Type 3 compression rifle.
Yes, the latter is a truly elegant energy weapon. I've always considered the next generation Type 2 to look ergonomically awkward, though.
Over there is Gimli's axe, and there is Hellboy's Samaritan.
That is a lovely piece, isn't it?
That's Bond's Walther PPK.
Cliched. Ooh, what's this one then, Watson?
Let me see. Ha! It's Deckard's pistol from Blade Runner.
Well done, Watson.
There's the mandatory lightsabers. Boring.
Don't make the noise.
Sorry, Holmes, it's compulsory.
Look what we have here, Watson.
Batarangs, Holmes. Batarangs!
I thought you'd like those.
This might come in handy.
What is it?
It's Van Helsing's gas-powered crossbow. Keep that one in mind, Holmes. It can double up as a crucifix.
Don't start that again.
Ooh, this is nice. A Space Marine Corps M14A pulse rifle from Aliens.
Watson, what can I say? You've passed the test with flying colours. Your knowledge of movie weaponry is almost as good as mine.
Oh, shucks. You're just saying that.
Yes, of course I am. Consider that as today's treat.
It really is a cool collection.
It most certainly is. There's one type of weapon that we haven't seen yet, though.
Is there any point in my asking what it is?
No point at all, Watson.
Because if you told me, it would spoil the plot.
Correct. You know my methods.
Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know your methods.
This has been a case for intellectual deduction. When the original intellectual deduction is confirmed, point by quite a number of independent incidents, then the subjective becomes the objective, and we can say confidently that we have reached our goal. I had in fact reached it before we left Baker Street, and the rest has merely been observation and confirmation.
You don't half talk a lot of bollocks sometimes.
Let's go and have that chat with Bob.
What ho? How's the old girl doing up in her room?
You mean your wife?
Yes, that's her. Mrs. Ferguson. Still a bit potty, is she?
She's no more insane than you or I, Ferguson.
What about me?
Yeah, as I said, she's as sane as you and me, Ferguson.
No, can't see it, Holmes. She has to be doolally to go attacking the baby like she did.
I do not believe she was attacking the baby.
Nom nom nom.
Was that supposed to be a vampire?
Yes, just reminding you, Holmes.
That was very good, Watson.
Thank you, Bob.
Before Christopher Lee here gets too carried away, might I see the child?
You want to see Jackie again?
No, I wish to see your other child.
Huh?
The baby?
Oh, right, that one. Why ever would you want to do that? It's a baby. It makes awful noises and leaks all over the place from both ends. On a good day, it doesn't smell worse than old Carlo here. Actually, the little chap's got smellier than ever for a while, although he's got a little better over the last couple of days.
Would I be correct in saying that the child's increased levels of noxious odour coincide with the commencement of your wife's illness?
Why, yes, I believe it did. Is that significant?
Save your breath, Bob. He won't tell you things like that. Apparently, it's more entertaining if he keeps you in suspense.
You know my methods.
I knew you were going to say that.
If I could see the baby now.
Suit yourself. Dolores! Dolores!
Yes, mister.
Ah, Dolores. Any idea where the baby's kept?
Yes, mister.
Excellent. Be so good as to go and fetch him in here, please.
Ah.
Well, off you toddle. Go and bring me the little fellow.
Ah.
Dash it. What's the matter with you, Dolores?
Where's Master Jack?
I don't know what concern that is of yours, but the last I saw of him, the little scallywag was running around the lower field, wildly swinging a shiny new axe that was clearly too big for him, while chanting, "Die! Die! Die!"
He's in the field.
Yes.
Okay, I get the baby.
What the deuce was that all about?
I believe that I have an explanation.
But you're not going to tell us what it is yet.
But I'm not going to tell you what it is yet.
So predictable.
However, Ferguson, I will tell you that the people around you care for you more than you realise.
I know. Jackie can come across as being a little needy sometimes.
I was not referring to Jack. I meant your wife and even Dolores.
My wife?
Yes.
My wife? Mrs. Ferguson?
Yes, your wife, Mrs. Ferguson.
Well, the blasted woman has a dashed funny way of showing it, shutting herself in her room and refusing to see me.
She has the best of intentions.
Is being a vampire an intention, Holmes?
There are no vampires, Watson.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but...
Ah, here's Dolores with the baby.
Here you are, mister.
Don't give it to me. I can never remember which way up the blessed thing goes. Give him to Mr. Holmes. He wanted to see him.
Here you are, mister.
Thank you, Dolores. Oh, gosh, I've never held a baby before. Isn't he light? I always imagined them to be a lot heavier.
Oh, you look lovely, Holmes. Hang on, let me get my phone out. I want to take your picture.
What? No, Watson, don't you dare.
Nice one. Oh, look, Bob, doesn't Holmes look lovely holding a baby? Even if it is upside down.
Yeah, very paternal.
Watson, if you ever show that to anyone at the Diogenes Club, I will kill you.
Why were you so keen to see the baby, Holmes?
What's the little fellow's name, Ferguson?
Buggered if I know.
Well, at least you're consistent.
What do you want him for, Holmes?
I want to examine him. He appears to be wearing some sort of tiny onesie. How the devil does this thing work?
Look, Holmes, it's got little poppers. See, they come right open.
Thank you, Watson. Where did you learn that?
I'm a doctor, Holmes.
Oh, yes, of course. It's so easy to forget. Now, let me see. Yes. Aha! Just as I suspected. Look here, Watson, at the base of the child's neck.
A vampire bite.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Watson, but no vampire made those marks.
Oh, what?
I've learnt all I need to from the baby. What do I do with it now? Is there somewhere I can put it down?
No, Holmes, not on the floor.
Here, I take.
Oh, thank goodness. Golly, they do start to feel heavy very quickly, don't they?
Yes,
And he definitely stinks.
he has.
I know, just like Mrs. Ferguson and the dog.
That's no coincidence, is it, Holmes?
You're catching on, Watson. Ferguson, I wonder if I could have a talk with Jack. I want to ask him something.
Certainly, no problem. Dolores, could you find Master Jack and tell him to come here now?
I hide the baby first.
That will no longer be necessary, Dolores.
What do you mean, hide the baby? What the devil is going on in this house?
All will be revealed very shortly.
Don't get too excited, Bob. It's usually a bit of an anticlimax.
Dolores, while you are rooting out Master Jack, would you also be so kind as to pass this note to your mistress?
It's no problem.
Thank you. Watson and I have been admiring your collection, Ferguson.
Glad you like it. It's taken me years to accumulate.
You have some very fine pieces.
Do you have any particular favourite item?
They rather like the Ghostbusters Proton Pack, but if I were forced to choose, then it would have to be Excalibur, the Sword of Kings.
It matches your ego perfectly, Holmes.
What about you, Prissy? What caught your eye?
The Zorg ZF-1 from Fifth Element.
Very good choice.
I could not help but notice the absence of a particular type of weapon, though, Ferguson.
Really? And what would that be then, Holmes?
I didn't see a blowpipe anywhere.
You didn't look hard enough then.
Oh, what do you have then? Something from Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Or maybe Apocalypto, perhaps?
Neither. I have a Morlock weapon from the 2002 version of the Time Machine.
Well, really? You know, I actually prefer the 2002 version to the 1961.
Sacrilege!
Oh, come on, Watson. The later one had Guy Pearce in it.
What is it with you and Guy Pearce?
Nothing. Might we see the weapon, Ferguson?
Of course. It's right around... Oh, that's odd. Where's it gone?
As I suspected. I think you'll find it's been missing for about a month.
Daddy!
Oh, crikey. Steady there, Jackie.
I feel all itchy, Holmes.
That would be your skin crawling, Watson.
Why are those horrid men still here? Send them away, Daddy, or I'll kill them.
Mr. Holmes wants to ask you something first, Jackie, me lad. Now answer him as best you can.
Very well. Just for you, Daddy. What do you want, you nasty man?
Do you miss your mother, Jack?
Real Mummy is dead. I didn't do it.
I never suggested that you did.
Good.
I suppose that for a long while after your mother passed on, you had your father all to yourself.
Yes, it was just Daddy and me and no one else. It was wonderful. We did everything together.
Then your stepmother came along,
Yes.
and all of a sudden you had to share your father with someone else.
Yes, I did.
And then to make matters worse, a baby brother also came into the picture.
Yes. Yes, he did.
How do you feel about your little brother?
He's still alive.
Splendid.
Yes. Splendid.
Where is the missing blowpipe, Jack?
I don't know. Can I go now?
Yes, of course. Run along now. I want to talk about you behind your back.
I hate you. I'm going to kill you.
Right back at you, Jack.
was all that about?
I can tell you precisely what has happened here, but I fear that the knowledge could decimate you, Ferguson.
Mr. Holmes, if you know what has been happening, you have to tell me.
Very well. The swiftest surgery is the least painful.
But if you rush surgery, you're more likely to cock it up.
No, Watson. You would be more likely to cock it up is what you mean. Now be quiet. I'm about to do my dramatic revelation bit.
I'll sit down then. This is likely to drag on a bit.
Ferguson, recall the day when you caught your wife attacking the baby.
I could never forget it. The blood was running down her chin.
And over her bosoms.
Your observation was precise, Ferguson. You saw your wife rise from the baby's cot with blood on her lips.
And her bosoms.
However, did it not occur to you that a bleeding wound may be sucked for a purpose other than drawing blood?
Nope.
What sort of purpose?
The extraction of poison.
I never thought of that.
Of course you didn't, Watson. You were too hung up on the notion of there being a vampire.
Well, that's because vampires are brilliant.
How can the baby have been poisoned?
Well, firstly, I reasoned that the idea of a vampire was absurd.
Says you.
Then, looking round your household, my instinct fell upon your astounding collection of weaponry.
It's very cool, Bob.
Thanks, Prissy.
The missing blowpipe confirmed my suspicion.
I'm not following you, Holmes.
The blowpipe was used as a means of delivering the poison. Darts dipped in it were first tested on Carlo. And following that successful trial, it was then used upon the baby a couple of weeks later. Mrs. Ferguson spotted the dart sticking in the baby, and her Peruvian background led her to suck the poison from the wound.
Good job she was Peruvian, eh, Holmes?
Yes, jolly convenient.
So the poison entered the systems of her, the dog, and the baby to various degrees, but all with the same resulting symptoms.
That explains why all three of them had the,
Precisely.
But what sort of poison could do that?
Given the nature and duration of the poison's effects, I believe that Extalis Patti was administered.
Sounds foreign.
Indeed, it was a particular favourite of the Romans.
Hence the Latin name.
Exactly.
Extalis Patti. What does it mean in English?
Google it, Watson.
But who in God's name would do such a terrible thing to such a dear little chap?
I know, harming a child, especially one so small and helpless, is abhorrent.
I was referring to Carlo.
It pains me to have to tell you this, Ferguson.
No, it doesn't.
Because I know how close to your heart the culprit is.
Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Holmes. Carlo could never do it. I mean, look at him. He has no way of even holding a blowpipe.
For God's sake, it wasn't the dog, Ferguson. And no, Watson, neither was it a blowpipe-wielding vampire.
How did you know that's what I was going to say?
Because I'm Sherlock Holmes, and you're predictable.
Well, I'll be blowed if I can think of who it could be.
Mr. Ferguson,
Yes?
the perpetrator was...
Yes?
It was...
Yes?
Master Jack.
I knew it.
No, you didn't.
You're right, I never had a clue.
What? My little Jackie? But how can you say this? How can you be sure?
Firstly, witness his general behaviour. For example, death and hate towards others as a prominent feature in his conversation.
He says kill a lot.
Hadn't really noticed it before, but now that you mention it...
Also consider how insanely jealous he is at having to share your affections with your wife and the baby.
Insane being the operative word, Holmes.
Quite so, Watson.
But Holmes, those factors alone aren't not enough.
Let me add Jack's rather guilty reaction when I asked him about the missing blowpipe.
Dash it all, Holmes, am I the only one who has failed to notice these things?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Hard to miss it.
Well, why has neither Mrs. Ferguson or Dolores said nothing to me?
Because, as I told you before, they greatly care for your feelings. They knew that to discover the truth about Jack would rend your heart in two.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, what am I to do?
Well, my recommendation would be to get Master Jack into a suitable reality TV show. Big Brother or something along those lines.
Blimey, is that crap still running?
Sadly, yes, Watson.
How would that help, Holmes?
The pressure of public ridicule would either straighten him out in his ways, or the cult of celebrity will net you a fortune.
Oh, a win-win situation.
Quite so.
Capital idea, Holmes, capital. How can I ever repay you for all of this?
Well, since you ask, I have rather taken a fancy to the Austin Powers gun bra you have on display.
Whatever do you want that for, Holmes?
Mind your own business.
It's yours, Holmes. Take it, and may it provide you with as much pleasure as it has given me.
Thank you, Bob. Now, we must be on our way, And I think that you should get yourself up to your wife's room and find out her first name.
But she refused to see me.
You should find that the note I had Dolores take to her will have changed her view.
Why? What did the note say, Holmes?
I simply wrote, your husband is a prat and your stepson is a nutter. Get over it.
Subtle, but effective.
Come along, Watson. We can let ourselves out.
Here, Holmes, don't forget your bra. I think you've earned it.
Oh, thanks, Watson. Goodbye, Mr. Ferguson.
Bye, Bob.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
What an odd little family.
You can say that again.
That poison was quite peculiar too.
I agree. High-power laxatives are not a common modus operandi for a would-be murderer. It's a pity we don't have more time to question Master Jackie about his unusual choice.
Oh, you could say the whole thing was alimentary, my dear Holmes.
No, I would not.
You have been listening to Sherlock Holmes and the Adventure of the Sussex Vampire, starring Stanislaw as Sherlock Holmes, Simon Stein as Dr. John Watson, Anastasia as Mrs. Hudson and Dolores, and special guest star Nicola Bonning as Mrs. Ferguson. All other parts were played by Fred Turner and Dennis Gavin. Adapted and produced by Fred Turner and Dennis Gavin. Music from Elgar, Williams and Wagner. Sherlock Holmes will return in the adventure of the Blanched Soldier. In the meantime, visit our website at www.thecurryfooandpeanut, that's all one word, .co.uk. No one should take themselves too seriously, especially Sherlock Holmes. Did you record that?
Yeah. Cool.
I can go in the outtakes.